this program.
It is now that part of the program when we shall
Unbox, 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 unbox.
What's inside the box?
It's OzBrick. OzBrick is here. OzBrick open toys.
Open the toys.
Toys. OzBrick.
Opening toys.
Yeah.
All right, are we ridiculous enough yet?
Oh, so weird. How's it going, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Unbox Something. Not nearly as cool looking as the thumbnail, which, as people know, I've been kind of just talking it up because I've had way too much fun with it. So we didn't get all lathered up in oil.
No.
We forewent the purple and the red face paint and body paint. And again, spoiler alert, those weren't our real bodies.
No, I don't look that good. No.
But hey, thank you all so much for joining us. Nice to see you all. We know that there's a ton of stuff going on, and I personally wouldn't blame you at all if you're like, you know what? Nah, I need to go check out some other things. Because right now, Attorney Ellipse is going on. I was checking that out and was learning a whole lot about a character that I didn't know about, and kind of making links to Mindbender from G.I. Joe and a character from Princess of Power. And I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
pretty
definitely
remarkable.
Yeah, check out Attorney in the Lips. And right now, right at the same time as this is happening, Toy Habits is going live. So there's probably some hot news. As much as I would love for you to watch this right now, I totally also understand that there's some, other great things to check out. So I just want to throw that out there. First off, though, before we totally get started, I want to say happy birthday, Eldor. Happy birthday to our Elder from Eternia, Eldor. I know that maybe over there in Eternia, it may not exactly be your birthday anymore, but over here it still is, sir. So happy birthday to you.
Absolutely.
Do you remember the age?
Happy birthday.
Did he cross 4 digits?
Oh, he's been crossed 4 digits.
That's
he's
what I
definitely
thought.
been crossed 4 digits.
Yeah. I thought I heard something like that this morning. If you didn't, I was able to see. Did you check out? Did you happen to catch him this morning? Our time?
I could not catch him this morning. I was in the middle of work when it went live.
Yeah, that's right.
I tried to.
So it was well before I started work. I happened to wake up super duper early and saw that he was on Zaz's channel. And so I just hopped on there and it was awesome. So congratulations on that stream.
I hopped on and I caught the first part of it because I was like, I'm not going to miss the whole thing. But I had to miss all of it, and I haven't had a chance to jump back. Because as soon as I got off of work, I had some stuff to do around here. You can see my laundry basket right here in the background. Had some other cleaning up I had to do. Plus, then I had to get some graphic work done for Toy Frenzy for this upcoming Thursday. So it's been a busy night, but
yeah,
it's time.
No
to
shame. I just wanted to celebrate our friend there for a little bit. Our fellow Legions class co-host.
That's right.
Okay. So let's say hey to the chat. There he is again. So he got his Too Bad. Oh, well, yes, another time. Oh my God, we could have totally done like a triple bad or triple threat. He's right. We could have done that.
We've got time.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Well, the thing is, we were trying to be fast too, because we also know that, again, what's tonight's YHS? Yeah.
Yeah, we got Toy Anxiety up tonight too. Man, we are up against some stiff competition for a live unboxing.
Next time we've got to get you on. Yeah, man. No, you know what? It's his birthday. I want to. Okay, we will try, but we will all commit to being super fast. So let me see if I can get him this.
Absolutely.
Actually, you have the link, right?
Yeah, I got it real quick.
Would you mind doing that while I go through and say hello to everybody?
Absolutely.
Thank you all for your patience. Let's see if we can bring you on, birthday wizard. Hey, what's up, Adam? Hello. Radical Toys. Nolan, hello to you. Clink.
What's happening, Nolan?
Let's see who else is in the chat today. Hey, Star, how's it going? Thank you so much for checking it out.
What is up? Good to have you here.
We're gonna do some tandem live unboxing and perhaps what do you call it when it's tandem plus one? Tandem plus one.
Just, I mean, I get weird with it. I would just
Let's
call
go.
it like it is. We're gonna have a threesome unboxing for Two Bad.
What's going on, Thanos? I'm snapping for you, Bud. If you haven't seen, Bud's got his sort of teaser, including some like stop motion animation of some of our favorite toys, and the whole vibe is so fun. It's so like, yeah, it's totally like kids show back in the day, like full on singing the song "My Buddy's Customs." Like, yeah, you got a jingle. Carol,
what's up, sis?
I love it. I love when you say "What's up, sis."
That's my big sis right there.
Chris, Shiny Plastic People, thank you so much for dropping in. Of course, you made it. Welcome. Let's see. Anytime. Unbox. Folks saying hello to one another. Did I miss anybody in the chat? There's this guy wishing Eldor a happy birthday. Woo woo.
We got to start monitoring who enters in these chats here, man. I got a lot of riffraff going on there.
Allison, hey Troy, what's going on? Cool. Yeah, definitely watch it when you can. And then let's see. I think I've got everybody. I don't know. No, I did not get everyone. What's up? Payne's Toy Samples.
Payne's in the house. Another fellow Ozhole.
My buddy's custom. Yes. My theme song is gonna get stuck in all your heads for days, and you get to hear it tomorrow during my premiere.
Already
that's Wednesday night, and he said before Duchesses. I don't know if there's a specific time. You got a specific time yet set, but I haven't checked on YouTube. Let us know in the chat, and we will do our best to send folks your way tomorrow. Okay, the plan was for you and me as OzBrick, right, to come on here and do a tandem unboxing. It's a little bit harder with this configuration. An hour before Duchess. So it's an hour before Duchess is when he's going to go on tomorrow.
Excellent. Okay. That's fantastic.
So we're going to do a relatively quick unboxing of Two Bad, New Eternia. Got yours? You probably all could guess that we were scrambling and talking. You probably heard all the crinkling, to give you a little insight into the trade secrets. We were trying our best to set these guys up so they can be opened as quickly as possible.
Try.
And then what's the second one? You got that too?
I mean, we had the ugly. We got to have the beautiful.
So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do today. And we're going to sort of talk about it, give you our sort of reactions and what we're seeing. Are you doing it right here, right? You don't got another cam?
I don't have my other cam set up.
No problem.
Didn't have enough time for it, but I know you've got your toy cam for all that goodness.
Yeah, but it's fine. Let's do it this way. It's the two of us.
Yeah, that'll work.
Otherwise we can't really see everything. All right, what do you want to do first, sir? Oh, go ahead.
Eldor says he will be here in just a few. He messaged me back already. Why don't we start with New Adventures while we wait for the birthday Eldor to come in?
Nice. Okay, cool. We've got a third, a threesome thing, you said, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Threesome.
Menage a trois? Is that what it is?
New Eternia He-Man, folks. Were you able to do some pre-work on him?
I did. I popped some of my snaps. I got them coming out here.
I did too.
So I want to give a special shout out to our friends over at Toy Habits, because this guy still has not shown up in any of the targets around here yet. So without them, I would not have this awesomeness. So thank you very much, Toy Habits.
Love those guys. As I've said before. Oh yeah, look at that.
As a kid, I loved this because it reminded me of Luke's green lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. This
Is,
so good.
is your saber lean a particular direction?
Yeah, it's a little to the left, and then if I flip it like this, a little to the right.
Yours looks a little more good to go than mine.
It's nothing a little hot water can't fix.
Right. Hot toy time machine.
That's right.
So we over here, we do have them popping up now. And again, I hadn't seen it until I saw you mentioned that you had it. And then I just happened to be in Target and saw two of them kind of hidden behind. And they still had this on, which I don't normally see. But
yeah, that's odd that it would still have that tag.
And they weren't, they were sort of like hidden. Yeah, they were hidden behind something like a Star Wars thing.
Interesting.
Okay, as we're opening, were you a big new Adventures He-Man kid?
Not so much. I mean, I was kind of excited about it at first because it was he said just pop him in for Too Bad here. He's giving me messages on the fly.
No problem.
So yeah, when New Adventures came out, like I was excited because I was like, oh cool, there's new He-Man. And then after like get my hands on the toys, I was like, this isn't He-Man. Where's all the muscles? And
so that was the thing that immediately you're like, this is not the same stature, this is not the same body type, or really not even like just the muscles, right? It was the size, and I think that's what threw me off the most. But yeah, definitely the build was different. But you know, it's a trip because you, as a kid, right, you invest so much, not just in the character, but if you've got these toys and they're like working with each other, they're playing with each other, and they're the same size, and then you get the toys and you're holding this New Adventures one, and he's tiny compared to that. It just didn't kind of work.
No, it wasn't all there for me. But then as time went on, I was kind of like, you know what though? It was still pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
The cartoon ended up becoming more of a thing for me later, like going back and being able to appreciate that more. Skeletor still kind of bugged me out. I did not like him having eyeballs. That was really awkward.
Yeah, totally. That is a little bit weird. Ooh, and I know you said that he would just pull him into for Too Bad, but he's there. Hey, Eldor, if you would like to jump in now, give me a thumbs up, and I'll throw you in now.
Yeah. Talk about your impressions of New Adventures with us.
Is that a thumbs up? That's a considering. That's a thing. We can wait. Whenever you're ready, just yeah, whenever you're ready.
All right. So
looks like he's busy on the other.
Already, the armor I find odd.
Okay.
Like the way that they did the armor, it's that soft plastic with the straps on the side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that to me is a bit different, but I like that it is that softer plastic though, so it's kind of easier to bend, and that makes it a bit easier to put on.
And who do we compare that to in terms of like, are there other figures? I'm trying to remember. I don't have my Fisto here, but I know he's got a wraparound piece.
Surprisingly, I actually don't have any of the figures with like the wraparound style armor. Like, well, no, that's not true because I got the new Beast Man. I just didn't put the vintage armor on him.
Yeah, but those are kind of like straps. So I know that the straps are kind of like this material. And, you know, I want to say that the armor sort of clamshell-y type stuff is also this material with these sort of like little clips is what we're talking about, folks. These sort of like belty clips. So it's consistent in the line, but it is different. Like, you know, and I remember like those clamshell, like remember Fisto and Jitsu and vintage was like hard plastic. Let's hold
Right.
that thought because I'm getting like a signal here. I think it's some kind of portal. Like what? Whoa! Hello.
No. I think it's saying,
Nanu, Nanu,
Nanu.
Nanu. No, that's not Nanu. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember what was Nanu, Nanu.
Oh, what was it? I
I
can't
could
remember what he
sit.
did with this.
I could sit. No, I can't
It's
sit like.
definitely not that one.
Yeah.
How's it going, man? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Oh,
brother.
oh, thank you. Yes, a quiet day. My cellular device conked out on me yesterday.
Gotcha.
Getting a new one there for the birthday, so that'll keep me running.
So you're not getting a bunch of messages telling you happy birthday then, huh? Is that what's happening?
Still getting those messages there.
Yeah,
It's
just
a
not on
bit
your phone.
hard
Not
to
blowing up my phone.
read them all on the Facebook though. It's hiding them all because the algorithms they lump it all into one thread there, I believe you say. So I've been trying
Gotcha.
to reply to all those. Yes.
Hey Don, thanks for joining us. Hello.
What's going on, Don? Good to have you here.
Ray, how you doing?
Ray Black in the house.
Let's see who I missed. I don't know if you saw this earlier, Oz, but I did point up that Bud, like new adventures was his jam.
Yeah, we've had some talks with Bud about new adventures, because he's again a little bit younger, and so that was like more around for his time.
Sure.
But that's great though, because it's great to talk to people who this was their He-Man.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's great to see that and that respect and that love from them, that it meant something to them, much like the original meant to us.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I think that's great.
I have a ton of thoughts on the cartoon too for some other time.
Yes.
But because I just started rewatching it this past year. And, for the most part, it's like, okay, cool. I get the setup. I mostly enjoy it. But there was something about the larger story that made me sort of scratch my head as to like the greater story behind this show. But that's a tease.
Right. You tease.
But as we're looking through these, curious Eldor, what was your take both in universe and in the human universe on New Adventures He-Man?
I did give the New Adventures show a bit of a try there. I think they're on the YouTube there, showing a few of the other He-Man shows. So we had the Filmation in 2000X. You can watch on there, and yes, not a show that took my enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I was sort of more Filmation and a little 2000X there myself. But I did notice the Masterverse figure you're holding up there, Bricks, with his chest armor looks nice and square there. So I considered buying him to make a bit of a fearless photog custom with.
With this piece.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Nice. I love how your brain functions in terms of like seeing these pieces and going like, boom, I need to make this character or that character. Total like customizer brain.
Well, yes, thinking outside the box as it were.
Yep. Thinking
Outside
about all the possibilities.
So much. We talked in Legion's class about just and then they talked about it during Legion's Lounge last night, like the buying of figures solely for pieces and nothing more.
Oh yes, I do a bit of that. It gets a bit expensive, though, but yes.
Right.
So you've got the look. You got the full armored, and I'm going to keep it sort of strapped.
Yeah. So I'm digging it. I mean, both ways are great. As a matter of fact, as a kid, I had the Thunder Punch version, which looked like the one that you have, that came with that really huge shield and then that other metal looking sword, not the clear plastic, the translucent green. That was the version of New Adventures He-Man that I had. No helmet or anything. And yeah, like I like the fact that they gave us both looks for the one figure. I really dig that. And something else I like here is that New Adventures take on the belt buckle there. for the harness, it's got that H with that little dip in the middle to create the M with the lower half of the H.
Oh yeah.
So still giving it that He-Man, and yeah, it shows up a lot better on yours, Brick.
Cross shot.
Yeah, of course, obligatory crotch shots here.
Yes, I think Brick Something has all the up-to-date technology there, as it were.
Yes.
I
it's
don't
definitely-
know if I do. I've got this cam, and that's why that's why I usually use my phone for the unbox cam, because it's got a better cam. So it's funny. I don't know. It looks different here in StreamYard, I feel like, and then when I try and go back and rewatch, I'm not super satisfied with the look. But I don't know.
I've been there before, and I understand that.
Yes, sadly, as the tale goes, these computer companies, because I'm using my built-in cam, you see, they like to scoot out on the camera technology because it costs them a bit, apparently, or whatever the story is. But yes.
Well, let's see. So, like, Star's got a question here. Does anyone still have some affinity for the original He-Man story that was on the packaging of the originals before the cartoon came out? And at least the answer for me is yeah, totally. That was the first He-Man I knew.
Right.
And
for me, I couldn't read, but looking at those images and picking up that story with how you could pull the story from just looking at the images without having to read along with it.
Yep. Yeah, it was funny. It was supposed to be this comic thing. I love that story behind that whole. That's the one. The story behind the making of the mini comics, right? It was like, they're working with a retailer. I forget if it's Toys R Us or this other big retailer. And the Mattel guys are trying to sell them on picking up this line, and there was this pressure of like, well, what else is going to market this thing? There's no movie or whatever. And they said, oh yeah, didn't I tell you about the comic book? And what's funny to me is that wasn't a comic book. It was a picture book with full on like text at the bottom, right? Like,
well, it wasn't even a thing yet. They hadn't approached anybody.
Right. They didn't actually have an idea about it. He was totally guessing it. But just like it was a mini book. Like I always thought of it just like a kid's book. But anyways, yes, that story, I love that story. It's very it's a mix of like, it's just, barbarian leaves his village, comes across the sorceress. So very different, right? There was no Adam then. That wasn't until Filmation. And so, others clearly have a soft spot. That's Thanos saying the same thing. Definitely has a soft spot for the original mini comics. I do too. And also I'm pretty, but I'm also like pretty flexible and open, because I think at the end of the day as a kid, and still true, it was about like how much these characters, the toys, would capture my imagination. It didn't have to be a toy. Like if I saw a cartoon or a drawing first, it'd be sort of like what I would read into that. And then, I'd brush up on the lore and learn about it and kind of go with it or not. So I'm pretty flexible in that way. So when Filmation came out, I was like, okay, I guess this is the deal. And yeah, it felt a little bit, even Filmation, I'll admit, as a kid, I was kind of like, oh, this is like Sword in the Stone, right? Kind of a deal. And so, but it was what it was.
Well, I think what helped.
You see, commonly children have bedtime stories, and I understand Motu also stretched out into little golden books. So they're more sort of image-centered type of pages. They're not really a comic book, but those are ideal for reading to your children before bedtime as well. They've got pictures to go along with it.
Yeah, they're totally that. Oh, you're already taking them apart. Look at that.
Oh dear.
Well, I had to. They do the armor piece.
Customizing there.
Oh, right.
I was popping his harness back on him and going back to that look with it, because I put that closed fist in his hand to give it that, again, that Thunder Punch He-Man look.
Yeah.
It just didn't come with the sword or the shield that version came with as a kid. It was so weird because like that looked completely different than what was in the TV show and then what the toy was. I was like, why do we have like 3 different power swords for the same He-Man here? It did not make sense to me at all.
Yeah, it's a little.
Speaking of variants there, I wonder if we'll see those in the Masterverse line, like your Thunder Punch He-Man and Battle. You already had the Battle Armor, I suppose. And yes, I think a Dragon Blaster Skeletor's coming out in Origin soon.
I don't have battle armor yet. That's one of those that I haven't gotten, but I'm definitely real quick. Ray Ken 33. ¿Cómo están, apare?
Going
Ray Ken over in the Philippines.
Good evening there, sir.
Yes,
and
one of our
let's see,
good
did anybody
friends
else
from
join us?
across the world. I
Scott
love how much of
Baker.
the global community. What's going on, Scott? Good to have you here, brother.
What's up?
Greetings there.
But this
Want to make sure I get it.
Toy YouTube community we have is amazing, and it's global, and that's what I love. We got fans in Germany that watch and join in. We've got fans again in the Philippines. It's amazing. And again, Eldor, you're normally here in the States with us when you appear on live, but then this morning, you're popping up over in Australia with Zazel. Oh, man, incredible.
Scott says, I've tried to watch New Adventures.
A bit early for me. And yes, we were on there talking about the powers of Grayskull, so you can check out that episode over on Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse or Zazel's channel there. And they also introduced me to my figure that I put together from different pieces and parts and what have you. So
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, they kind of turned you into a vintage action figure. Scott Baker saying, I've tried to watch New Adventure several times, but I never make it through more than 3 or 4 episodes. It's a tough watch for me. Totally get it. I kind of had to really push myself to check it out. But I think that's the thing that trips me out a little bit is I do wish they did a better job of really trying to convince me that this is the same guy. Right. Whether that's definitely there's obviously the visual piece. But even just a little bit more, they did have the Sorceress. There is that sort of intro piece, and there's mention of Grayskull, but so much is different that even his characterization and it just didn't quite work out. But but kind of fun. You know what I really like is how Adam looks in that show. I kind of like the whole toga and the hair thing with the ties. I was like, okay. But anyway.
It had more of that almost like Greek kind of aesthetic to it, which made it feel like more peaceful. And I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
And Thanos, like, we're jumping around. And let me say, I do want to look at some of the chat because folks definitely bringing a dope conversation. Thanos is saying, I heard that Adam being built like He-Man was a budget issue in Filmation. And I heard that as well. Essentially, it was like, the difference is, do we redraw him as a smaller character every single time, which is like time, money, right? You've got animators having to do that. Or do we keep the same model and just paint,
just do
a
a
white
lighter
shirt
shade.
and like literally, just it's the same model. So you could use the same basic sketches and trace on top of it clothes and then paint the cells as needed versus having to redraw a different character each time, which totally.
Well, if you recall, in one episode of Filmation, I think when Prince Adam was going back there in his memory to how he came across Cringer there, they did draw him as a younger version of what we usually had. But yes, possibly that the whole budget issue there.
Yeah. I think maybe I think there was a direction, right? Because was it Filmation who created Adam, or was it the comics, the actual DC at the time, right? Or was it Star? I feel like somebody could definitely correct me and like shame me, but
because in the comics he was always the big buff build, and he just got given the armor there. From the green source, the green goddess, as it were.
In the mini comics, yeah. What were you going to say, Oz?
I didn't realize I had myself on mute there because I had a cough earlier. So, but yes, it was a complete Filmation type thing.
It was.
We're giving him more of those superhero tropes of the hidden identity. It created for a different story, added some different obstacles.
And you might be right, just because we're doing. But just so you know, here's Thanos saying think it was DC, and then Bud saying DC made Prince Adam. So
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'd heard that it was the comics in DC, right? But
Hey, I could always stand to be wrong. That's true.
yeah,
Just
I'm not
confirm.
sure, but I don't think it was a skinnier build though. Is that right, Bud or Thanos? You know? So in other words, the reason I was asking was I was kind of wondering, like, was he ever a different build and a younger kid like we saw in say 2000X, which I loved. And here we are
Indeed,
stuck
Revelation
after
also.
30 minutes on He-Man. And he was buff according to Thanos. Yeah. So, and Star has a bunch of stuff that I am missing, and I apologize. That's not intended. I'll go back to it. But Duchess, welcome as always, friend. Good to see you.
Catch your story soon, indeed.
Star saying, nah, never got into the whole Prince Adam stuff. When you're built like He-Man, you don't need to be anyone else. Sure, except Kal-El, Superman, Bruce Wayne, Batman. I mean, right. And to know, or at least like, again, if it was a DC thing, which that's part of why that always stuck out to me, was because it's very comic book and very DC in particular, right? The whole secret identity where literally if I just put on glasses, take out my glasses, I'm a completely different person, or, you know.
Just like Superman, that he would dart off into his phone booth and wear that, so you couldn't see him change, just like Prince Adam did there.
So, I was looking it up here because I was very curious to see where the first appearance of Prince Adam was. And it is in the DC Comics. It was published, or it was From Eternia with Death was the first Masters of the Universe story published by DC Comics. Lead feature in DC Comics Presents number 47 of July 1982. First appearance of the Prince Adam identity before it. He-Man was depicted as being a hero full-time. This initial description of Adam states that he has a much superior strength, but not so much as in his persona He-Man, which he could only turn into in a place called the Cavern of Power and not recite words with his sword. So the sword was not what unlocked the power initially.
It's a little phone boothy too. He goes to maybe a phone booth or a Fortress of Solitude.
A bat cave, if you will.
Yeah.
Gets suited up.
I will say, like, I have fun with these Masterverse figures. This is what sort of got me back into actually buying figures. I was excited about He-Man and then saw that, you know, they're doing this new line, and I was like, okay, cool. Maybe, you know, to get something. I know a lot of folks love Origins because it brings back that vintage nostalgia. Totally get it. For me, it was like, I played with those as a kid. Kind of wanted to see where they go with other things, especially with the posability and the sort of like sculpt that's kind of just different, maybe a different level of detail, different overall art direction. And I'll tell you, like, right now I'm having fun with this figure. I'm having a lot more fun with this figure than I honestly thought I would. I love, you know, like it's kind of, it's a cool look, right? This whole, like, he's got pants, no shirt, got this like late 80s, early 90s Steven Seagal ponytail, except he's basically got a mullet tied back because he's got that, you know, he's businessy up front.
It's got the bag in the front, the little like almost Devon Sawa cut going without the part.
It could be your Flash Gordon too, if you were so inclined.
I was thinking that as well, actually, with this figure. He is so Flash Gordon.
And do you notice his sword hand? He's got a vertical, which also is in the 40th anniversary He-Man, which, confession, I have a 2-pack and a single, and I haven't opened either.
Oh, man. I actually ended up getting a second 40th anniversary single just because I wanted the one to open and the one to keep sealed.
I ended up getting 3 myself. One to make into a Faker custom, which I'm working on currently, and the other for a bit of a $1 there.
Yeah,
right.
I spare Zodak for his armor and a few of the weapons.
I was actually thinking myself, like, I might try to go grab, if I could find one at this point, maybe possibly one more Just to kind of put somewhere off to the side, so that way Connor, since he has fallen in love with He-Man like his old man, that I could put one aside from him to enjoy when he's a little older, a little bit more responsible with all the extra accessories and such. Because let's face it, he's 8. He's gonna lose everything. And that's
Wanna
okay,
say
that's
hey to
being a kid.
Bobby?
Absolutely. Bobby, what's going on? One of my co-hosts with the most.
I hope you enjoyed your steak dinner there, bud.
Oh, that sounds good.
I'm bringing out heads because before we started talking, you were talking a little bit about the head of this figure, and I know, like, here we are supposedly trying to be quick, and we're 37 minutes into it. But what are your takes now that you're having him in hand with this head and the whole figure, really?
Overall, I really enjoy this figure. He's got a good heft to him. He's got that more lean buck to him than like the other ones do, which I like. I think that's nice because, again, this should look more like lean athletic muscle than bulky bodybuilder muscle. The head sculpt, I see a lot of people not enjoying this head sculpt, but I gotta say, it just feels to me very New Adventures. The detail on the eye paint alone is actually really impressive. For some reason, he won't.
The eyes are hard to paint without the proper brushes, you see. I tried that the other day, but yeah.
Well, you know what, Eldor, on that note, just my take is that this is an inkjet process.
Yes.
On these eyes in particular, and not all of them, I don't think, or maybe all of them, but because if you zoom in and you kind of take a look, you'll see like a matrix, right? So it's not straight up paint. It's not a like a single. I don't know if Tampo, like the pad printing, is even used because usually in pad printing it's like the equivalent of a, sorry if this is super geeky, a bitmap versus a vector, right? So it's like this is made up of a bunch of tiny dots sprayed on in a particular pattern to kind of give you a spectrum of color, etc. And so that's what I see.
The mass production level, you see, it take too long for hand painting all that, I suppose. So it's
they've done it in the past, and people still do it. Yeah, I mean, but people do it, and so. But it's just, I think this is like their way of advancing. And like, you look at like a lot of Hasbro figures use what do they call it? Real face, or they've named. They've named that technology for Black Series, I think, is where they're like, where essentially it's like a dot matrix type spray that kind of resembles a little bit closer. I think it's photoreal, maybe
a little bit.
So anyway, I agree with you, Oz. Like I was saying earlier, like I'm not super into the head, but I was saying like, no, I think of the heads, it's one of the better ones in Masterverse. And now that I have it in hand out of the box, definitely it's actually really, really good for that look. Like I get it. If the premise is, I don't like the way that He-Man looks because it's not, Filmation or whatever, 100%. Take that aside. As far as like resembling a human being that is like, I don't know, like heroic, quote unquote heroic or whatever, like that kind of classic comic booky, look, like we were saying Superman or which I do think that the New Adventures was sort of leaning more towards, right? Of its time, like, I feel like they've done a great job of recreating it. I have little nitpicks of the head in terms of like if you look on the side, like I feel like that jawline is like it's just really
awkward.
Like so from this angle, for example, it looks like just a little odd to my eye, but it looks really good from the front, and like from other like oh no, this actually captures that character, I think, fairly well. But I am definitely one who is ridiculously picky maybe pickier than most when it comes to heads. So you'll see like I've got a bunch of these heads because I have a couple of these for like customizing and playing around. But just to kind of compare, I feel like it's getting better. This even one didn't necessarily bother me the way it bothered others. And again, I think it's a difference of, does it bother you because you want it to look like the vintage or something else versus is it ugly, if you will? And so, which is of course subjective too, but I don't think this is by any means ugly. And I do have opinions on other Mattel heads that I would say, in my humble opinion, are ugly.
I was going to say, speaking of, Eldor has the vintage head front and center there for us as kind of a comparison. And I'm not saying that that's ugly, because again, they've really tried to make that look like that original head that we were all used to from the original. There are just certain things that kind of throw it off from how the vintage head looked that just really pushes it away more than it really resembles a dead on. But in that respect, though, it's still a really good head sculpt when it comes to Masterverse. Because again,
in some light it doesn't look too bad, but when you get all the shadows forming, it does look a little bit off, granted. So yes, I have these two figurines here that I walked into one
gorgeous.
of those. So the process was a bit of a scanning booth there. So you walk in and it's all lined with cameras all around you. And here I was in my Admiral Akbar cosplay. So a fellow had got me in there. And,
so wait, did I miss? That's supposed to be you in cosplay?
Yes, and then they got me to do one with the helmet off there and just holding the helmet in there. But mind you,
awesome.
I painted the yellow pinstripe going down the legs because I didn't have time to incorporate that in the pants originally. But yes, and they have a machine that 3D prints all this out, and I believe it prints all the colors and
that's amazing.
So it is a bit of a 3D scanning technology, although he wasn't sure if he made the colors dark enough. But I said, I don't mind. I'll probably paint them in better myself later on or something such.
That's amazing.
But yes, that's the 3D technology they use. Of course, it's not my first time in the booth. I went in it when they were up in Auckland there, and I had my Guyver cosplay on, and the second day I had a bit of a Stargate Serpent Guard costume on that day, and they photo scanned me in there, but they're very expensive. These pieces, they're $300 each. I was given this one here. I was given this one here for free, but then a friend paid for this one. So yes, it's good to have these little knickknacks, and they put them on a little bit of a clear base there.
That's amazing. Like I'm wrapping my head around real quick. There's we got Bobby coming in with a hot take, and I totally understand where you're coming from. Like I said, I'm kind of picky. I don't know that I would have framed it the way you did, but I did say I thought some of them were ugly. And let me just sort of like run you through a little bit. You can look at Akbar and this at the same time, right? So like this is an example of one that I was like, oh man, I'm not feeling that. It doesn't look super. And again, this is such a weird thing to say. It doesn't look heroic because like really it's super subjective, right? Any of us can be a hero. We know that, like, and so it's kind of subjective and frankly a little bit dickish. But again, since I grew up on these tropes of like heroes and stuff, like that's this kind of, I don't know, I get like Steve Martin vibes. I get a bunch of different things, but like that's not it. And where's the other one? There's this one. So I'll give you another example. This I don't think was a particularly successful one. I think it was the jawline for me that was just super thick down there. Very like Dragon's Lair, dude. Thick jawed.
Yeah.
And again, I feel a little bit weird. Like here, it's like, look, he's so judging everyone's looks, but I don't know. I don't know how else to talk about it. But that's why I'm keeping up Bobby's there, so it makes me look like I'm being nice. No, I'm just kidding, Bobby. He-Man head.
Well, I think that's one of the funniest things about He-Man. I mean, in terms of what He-Man should look like, mind you, we only had the one toy to base all of our opinions off of in the vintage. And it was that same head with minor tooling differences as time went on for later iterations of He-Man. But he was just this blonde-haired, blue-eyed white dude. And mind you, he didn't even have blue eyes as a figure. He had black dots with a little line that came off of it. So it's like, how is it so hard to replicate this idea, this imagery? But I think that's because even though it was like this standard look as a toy, we all kind of had like our own imagery of He-Man as a kid in our head a little bit.
Yeah.
And it, you know, whether it was based off of how he looked from Filmation, how he looked from artists rendering in the different books. I think that's one of the reasons why it is so hard for people to sculpt what we would all think is a good definitive look for He-Man. I mean, because there are the people that love the classics look, and I love Four Horsemen sculpts, but even then I'm just kind of like, you know.
Yeah, I'm not particularly into that look either. But I think it looks good. It's just not my thing. Like compared to like some of these that I'm holding up, I would say that this one, like just to be clear, I want to show you that I'm not just like all over the place. Well, I am all over the place, but I will say this to me is not attractive and doesn't look good for a He-Man head. That said, the classics one, I think is an attractive head, looks really good, dynamic. It's just not like my preferred look for He-Man. And a lot of those classics figures, not my thing, but to me, it's like, okay, I get it. That's a He-Man. He's heroic, and it's a good looking sculpt. Awesome. Well done. This one, I see that. I'm like, yo, Mattel, like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like they either, I don't know, try hard enough. That's unfair to the designers. I know they all work really hard. It's just like, but it doesn't like, this is their flagship character, right? And I don't know. We see action figures all the time. Like, anyway, but I will, all that to say that this one, I gotta say, like, I get it. Just like the way I feel about the classics. Not my favorite, but he actually looks really good. And as you've noticed, why does Brick have all of these like heads? Well, it's because I end up replacing them with custom heads that I do like better. Now, I get it. Some people will look at this and go like, no, that's not really that attractive either. Fair enough. But for me, to my eye, this is a much more sort of like heroic look and sort of like dynamic than this one that I feel is just kind of like a little bit emotionless and characterless.
Right.
And what I like about these are by Jose Luis Morel or Morel, is double L. So from Mexico, he goes by Hordak MX over on Instagram. IG. Dope customizer on IG. And what I like about him is that, like, for most of his heads, he does take sort of adventures away from this look. But what I've always, going back to what I said about New Adventures He-Man, about the believability that this was supposed to be the same character we got to know in Filmation, like this really does feel more so to me like these are the same guy with longer hair or with a helmet on. And there's just something about that for whatever reason in my collection, if I'm going to believe that these are the same person, you know, I kind of want to, I'm not looking to do the MCU multiverse of it all and have different variants per se. So that's, again, your mileage may vary. And, you know, toys, art, all this stuff is super subjective. But for me, that's kind of where I lean.
We'll see with those two heads you showed before, the new Eternian Spearhead and then the Faker spare head there. I combined the hair off the Faker with that spare New Eternian head there.
With this one.
Just to kind of see what he would look like. Yes.
I love it. If you could bring it forward a little. Like, I love that the customizing aspect. And see, that hair adds more dynamism, I feel like, to that face. I'm still not into the face. But
it feels because the way the hair is. I feel like this dude's... It does look like he's in a bit of action there, like a bit.
Yeah, I feel like this guy looks static and like he's being like stifled in that helmet. Like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I feel like the helmet needs to be a little bit bigger. Like the way this helmet fits around this He-Man's head, the way it comes down and around a little bit more. Like, I almost feel like that's the way that, and let me get it placed. Of course, the plastic's a little warped here, but like how that comes down and around his jaw more.
Yeah.
I don't know how well you can pick that up, but I feel like that's the way that other helmet needs to be. Like, it needs to come down and around just a bit more. However, looking at this just kind of gave me some awesome ideas for like a Karg custom figure with the way this helmet looks.
Karg.
Or not Karg. What was Saurod from the movie?
Oh, yeah. It totally does look like that shape, that beginning of that shape. Again, Hordak MX. I had these with the lighter hair. I thought maybe I could throw in a New Adventures. He doesn't have a ponytail one yet. I don't know. We'll see. I was also thinking that, because I do like this head, like as a different character though, right? And I think it was, I want to say it was you, Eldor, somewhere else where I heard you talking about, maybe it wasn't you, but that this could be a different character, that this could actually be Dare. Was you, right? Or maybe maybe not.
I don't recall Dare, so it might have been someone else. I think
Dare or Gray
or something.
Dare is his son, right? At one point, was meant to be the continuation.
It depends on which version of it you're reading.
Right, but at one point there was supposedly a show potentially in production to be Dare, son of He-Man.
Before New Adventures, you had, what was it? He was Dare or Hero, but not the Hero that is also out in Masterverse right now.
Yes.
It's complicated and convoluted, just like every story about He-Man is in the end.
You also had the son of Skeletor as well.
Skeleton.
Punk rock Skeletor with his mohawk.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm sorry. We kind of went on. I know we were kind of going off on a tangent there, and supposedly this is going to be less than 45 minutes. That's what I said, right?
As we're nearing an hour now.
All right. Are the three of us ready for our try too bad? Thank you. That's probably a better word than what we were saying earlier.
Yeah, the trifecta. I like that a lot better. There's a lot more.
All right, let's do it, folks. Let's do it.
Yes. Oh my
God.
God.
Go for it, Eldor. Let's open it up.
All right, it's Christmas.
Happy birthday. It's your birthday. This is your birthday present. We are here at your party, friend.
Celebrating Eldor's birthday with him on live. What better way to go about it than hanging out with your friends and opening up some cool toys? Oh, man. I got to say, ever since I saw this version of Too Bad, I was just like, gotta have them. Gotta have them. The beautiful artwork. I believe it was Nate Barch.
I feel like this is, I feel like both of these are Nate's work, Nate Barch's work.
Some of
this one as well.
Work. Yeah.
His last work, meaning he's no longer doing Masterverse? Or
well, he is full-time for Horseman.
Oh, sure. But
so I don't know
that he doesn't do other work.
I don't think he specifically stated that he can't do work for Mattel anymore. But I do remember him mentioning he's a bit busy right now.
Well, between Cosmic and Mythic and Figura Obscura, totally get it.
I'll have to reach out to him and see what he's doing, because he's always pretty cool about, being open with his fans and talking with people. So, who knows?
Evil Lynn is not his for sure. And
no.
but
Oh, these toys.
I know. Sorry, Elder. We cheated. Oz and I cheated. You could
Well,
probably
I
hear
did-
some of it while
Sorry.
we were opening.
I had my trusty pallet sword there. Still gonna cut myself, you see.
the power.
Oh, we are such a bunch of dorks, but that's okay.
It'll be a bit too bad if I cut myself now.
Oh, there it is. Brick just lost 4 subscribers.
We gotta
He's
get a-
losing subscribers now on the dad jokes, apparently.
We're gonna get a counter made up for every time Eldor makes a dad joke.
Yeah, where do you begin, really?
See, this guy comes with quite a bit of kit.
Oh my god, so much. But it's all gorgeous.
Yeah, the trusty blaster at your side.
So I
Yep,
gave a
the
shout
holster.
out. I gave a shout out. Oh, look, Bobby's got the dad jokes now too. Love you, Bob.
Yes, it is too bad indeed.
I looked. What did I look at?
I gotta say, I gave a shout out to New Adventures to Toy Habits for giving me the hookup here, and this one, my big sis gets a special shout out because she found this for me and got it sent out. And thanks, sis. I really appreciate it.
Man, you truly are the organizer, man. You're getting folks to buy you stuff. I love it. Oh, sorry, Thanos is saying I like how Brooke looked at your subscriber count.
Had to check real quick, see if it was true.
I didn't, but I wish I could multitask that well. I did not.
My God, he is absolutely gorgeous.
Yes, you're too good to Oz there, Carol. I hope you didn't bad draft you into it too much there.
Yep, she was out and about, and she said she'd seen them. I hadn't seen them yet up my way, and then she was just like, "Well, do you need them?" And I was like, "I do." So she grabbed them for me, sent them over this way. I went ahead and got her back as soon as I could. All right, so
Awesome. Scott got Too Bad from his kids. Happy birthday.
nice.
That's awesome.
That's perfect.
Good job,
man.
Papa.
That's how it should be. So one thing I got to say about this Too Bad that I already like is how crazy. Who's it? Badra, the blue one, I believe, or is it the other way around? Tuvar.
Tovar and Badra, one of those two.
Yeah, they're always in the same shot when they say the name. I can never remember. But I like how his skin isn't just like a normal fleshy leg piece. Like it looks like muscle, just like outside muscle and sinew, which is really unique. I think that would probably really pop if it was given a bit of a wash.
Totally would. Yeah.
So like you get like some dark blues in there, and that would stand out a lot more.
Again,
because
crotch shot.
Yep, got to get those crotch shots when it comes to Masters. But then we got that same kind of scaly pattern on. Again, I think it's the Badra side with the purple, where again it looks like they did some kind of a wash to bring it out a little bit, but just doing some kind of dark wash in there to really make those scales on him pop would go a long way with this figure. But I love
it does look like on that side, on the scales side, at least on the torso on mine, there's a little bit more. There is a wash going on, but less so on his shoulder and arm.
Yeah.
Indeed, the arm's not twisting forearm's not twisting on this side. It's a bit stiff.
Is it?
Well,
I've got some sort of
I need a bit
QC,
of
like
water
little.
there.
There's some paint slop here on his shoulder blade. You
yeah.
can see that. And I noticed also on my He-Man, some paint here, right there. And because I'm a kidult, I think I'm supposed to be angry and say these figures are trash and that Mattel is like the beast and that we should all stop buying these, right?
Wait, that's right? We're toy YouTubers that review figures, so we're supposed to just crap on them. Isn't that how this
So
goes?
horrible.
Well, yes, we should
Nah,
pass them
I'm
around.
a little
like
more
Ed and Ted
tolerant.
did.
Well-
I'm tolerant. I try to find the joy. Oh, like here's another QC
There
issue.
you
Look
go,
at
Ed.
that.
I mean, Brick Something.
Yeah, leg a little bit separated there.
Yeah, that's it.
There's one for you, Oz.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
Motu's trash. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I didn't pick up on it, Eldor, at first. But yeah, it's I get being critical. I got shushed the other day for being too critical. Or no, not for being too critical. The opposite, for like trying to get people to kind of like stop talking trash essentially about a designer. And they're like, man, we're allowed to be critical if we want to. And I was like, no, man, I'm not telling you not to be critical. Like, talk about the figure,
constructive
but
criticism, mind you.
yeah. And then I
That's
was
the important
called
part.
out for not what is it? You can't tell us how to be critical. I was like, dude, whatever, man. Like, who hurt you, bro? I don't know.
well, no names need to be dropped about that because no need to spread that word. But
Yeah, no.
what I will
But it's
say
just
is
the attitude.
you can be critical all you want, but is it you that's doing the work? I don't think so. If you are doing the work, speak on it as much as you like. I mean, you're allowed to have opinions. That's fine. Sure.
Yeah.
But do you know what that person's going through? I don't.
Yes, it's criticizing that that only serves to bring others down. Really, if you're constructively criticizing some work, then you can possibly help them with pointers on how they can improve, possibly. But again, as you said there, Brick, earlier, we all see He-Man's differently and so
Yeah.
forth. And short of having a pack full of 12 or so different head sculpts that will please everybody. Of course, it's
Yep.
probably a bit out of the books, as it were. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like again, earlier I was talking about how I don't like a lot of the heads, and I think certain ones I even use the word ugly, and I know like, but I also like acknowledge that like no one sets out to do bad things, and they work really hard on these things. I get all
That's
that,
right.
so I'm trying to be critical, but yeah. Anyway,
I mean,
it
I'm not
just
gonna
it kind of gets to me, and sometimes, and I admit that there are definitely times when I'm maybe just talking a little bit too much trash, but again, I do wonder sometimes, like, who hurt you, bro? And as Nick Dillinger put it, show me on the too bad. Never mind.
I would, but we might get the stream taken down. So
but also, like you had there, Brick, there's always people out there creating options to
Yes.
give a few
Yes,
better looks in Roman's boy and that fellow you mentioned before that's quite skilled at the head sculpts there.
Yep. Jose Luis More, and that's Hordak MX. And yeah, as Thanos reminds us, you could pop and swap the heads, as Adam asked here. Are their heads removable?
yeah,
He-Man
totally
and Skeletor on the bodies, please. I actually am in a position to do that.
They gave me a bit of a tubber shop in my pack.
I saw that earlier and I didn't realize that's what that was. I'm having a hard time here. What's up, Hedgehog?
Hedgehog,
How's it
what's
going,
going
man?
on?
Hedgehog has a dope interview over on Nerdzoic, taking us through his collection.
Oh, yes.
I might have to
Pretty
hit that up
awesome.
and check it out.
Oh, look at this. I didn't realize this thing spun, and I don't know if that's meant to be a feature, but it is kind of awkward that it sort of like falls like that.
What's
And,
interesting?
yeah, I
'cause
hear
it
you, Bobby.
almost it looks a little like a face when you get it spun around a certain way, and that it's
Mhm.
biting the axe and holding it.
It does. You're right.
He was a bit too bad for my liking there, so I put a He-Man head on him.
And
I gotta give mine a
yeah,
bit of a heat treat.
Oz is saying that face. If you take a look at it, it looks like it's like a little gargoyle-y kind of like rock golem face biting on that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
we got the little shiny.
Oh, you should
Shiny
twist
gun
around
here.
also. Oh, yes.
Now, one thing I will notice, although He-Man's sword was a bit straight, this gun's got a nice curve to it. It's for shooting around corners. So I like that he's got this holster for the gun. I think that's really cool. He's got the little thing across the back so that, he can hold one of his many weapons. He's got that beautiful axe with like that heraldry. Oh God, that's twisted. It's so twisted.
That's all, Adam. That's all for Radical Toys. You're welcome.
This is one of my favorite songs from that movie.
Here, wait. Let's take a look at this real quick. How do I? Is it this one?
There it is.
Yeah.
I can see
boy.
them
God.
squabbling at it all day long there.
Maybe we're gonna focus. Maybe I have faith. We can try. Come on, you can do it, guys. Come on, you can do it. No, God, I'm never gonna when I need it, it won't do it. So right there, we're in focus.
There.
We're getting there.
There you go. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh,
yeah, big bro.
You're talking to yourself, Skeletor.
He-Man stepped on a Lego. Which head is this again? This Skeletor is this? This is the Skeletor the alt Skeletor that came.
New
with
Eternia Skeletor.
Yeah.
yeah. The alt head for that one.
Yes, it was a good
Which is probably one of my favorite head sculpts of Skeletor, by the way.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. We can see that a little bit better. Duh, I forgot about that view. Maybe we can get back in brand over here with unbox. There you go.
There it is.
Well,
We're just playing here, folks.
On your figures there. Mine are not moving on both sides.
All right, guys. Review's over. We're just playing with our toys. Bunch of kids playing with the toys.
I would, Bobby, but my Catra and She-Ra. Well, let's see. One, the hair is going to be an issue, but
Brick Something. Is your forearms moving on your figure?
forearms.
The forearm swivel for Too Bad. I'm not having one.
Nope.
No,
tight on both sides.
So I'm wondering.
You see, they print the figures out there, and they also include a bit of a gel, if I'm correct there. So that gives you the pinless joints and what have you. So they have to blast all that way. I wonder if maybe that got fused in there, but maybe a bit of heat might sort it out.
Heat treat. If you still
That's
can't...
it. I'm done with the line. These forearms don't turn.
I don't have forearm swivel.
So I don't fully have this on. I actually think that the female head holes are they're different sizes. Yeah. But Bobby, there you go. I hope brought you some giggles.
All right. I have also got to heat. I have to heat the other hand too, because he won't grip his secondary weapon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's too tight in there. So, but that's okay.
Oh, some nice different paint taps on the axe there, though. A bit of a wrap on the
agree.
handle, which you don't usually get sometimes, but most times you do.
Here's some more
Hordak. Definitely not with his mace there, just all one color.
Here's some more Hordak MX goodness, guys.
Well,
I like that Duncan head.
I did too. Yeah, I love his Duncan. I've got an unhelmeted Duncan too with the man bun.
Yeah,
that Faker's a pretty good match there, though.
Oh yeah, skin tone wise, it's like dead on.
I am Faker.
So that's probably like the next big one that I'm most anticipating for Masterverse
Mm.
is the Duncan. That secondary Duncan, the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait until that hits. Of course, I'm still trying to find a Battle Armor He-Man. I haven't seen him yet. I was hoping when Too Bad did finally start showing up that I would have seen him around here. Still looking for that one out there, but that's okay. I know where I can get one, but
Adam is asking which head, and I don't remember which one it was at the time. Radical. So, it must have been the one that's on that I had. So yes, that is
probably
by
that
it's a
Hordak
custom.
MX.
Yeah, it's a custom by Hordak MX over on Instagram. Hordak MX over on Instagram, and again, there you go. Too bad.
Nice.
Oh yes.
That is beautiful.
So you're saying right now, I'm sorry, you were talking about Duncan, which
Yeah.
I'm 100% on board with. I love the gigantic gun.
It just reminds me of Capcom Iron Man, with his giant cannon dropping down, or Cable's big gun rocking out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, Man at Arms is the Cable of, Masters Universe. And I just love all those accessories. I'm digging the detail on the shield, too. Again, a nice wash would bring out that detail a lot more.
What, do you have a different gold there, sir? Is it just the lighting?
I think it's
might
probably
be
his
the lighting.
lighting.
Oh yes, mostly.
It's
Yeah,
a
because
white
right now it
balance
looks
issue.
like all three of us
Lord.
have different colors and shades. They can't even keep uniform plastic. These toys are terrible.
How's the armor looking there?
Yep, see? Different shades on the armor, too. It's definitely our lights.
This sort of camera configuration also gives us more of that tri-bad look.
Yes. I'm stuck in the middle. Oh, God.
All right, so what are the tips, folks, for this leg that's like this? Heat it up. Is that going to do anything?
I
Big
recommend
there, sir.
heating it up and then dipping it in cold, because then you'll get that expansion, but then you'll get that quick contraction as it cools, and sometimes that'll pull a joint right back together. Sometimes, not all the time.
Yes, like on the Faker harness that I needed to stretch the lower straps to get them to connect to the midway point. There, I just put that in the hot boiling water and stretched out these lower pieces just to give them that extra inch there to lock into the middle piece. But of course, I had to remove this part from under the top of the harness, so I could bring that down. It looks a bit funny, mind you, but because they buffed his body out more,
Right. That's a
harness
big,
is not going
bigger
to
torso.
fit on properly.
Do either of you have Roboto? Hedgehog Action is looking to pick that up, and I want to
also.
as well, but I don't have them.
I pre-ordered him.
You did.
Are we talking about the mini comic version or Masterverse?
I'm assuming Masterverse, since we're kind of in the Masterverse room today,
Okay.
but maybe it's others.
Yeah, so I'm expecting the Masterverse one around April now. He was going to come out in February, but I think he got a bit delayed there. But yes, I pre-ordered the mini comics one also.
Yep.
Overall, this figure is as good as everyone, at least the people that I've seen, has said. Like, there's a lot going on in this figure. A lot of just the sculptors went like nuts with this one. They're just like, you can tell they had a fun time with this assignment. I love the different faces.
Very big figure there.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I love the designs of the new sort of heads. It's still, it's still Too Bad, but they've definitely changed some of the shapes of things, and I will say that there's some not discolor, but inconsistent coloring, right? Like again, the plastic on the arms is different from the torso, and because
A little bit.
yeah, they had to make a decision on the torso color, right? Is this a blue plastic or a purple plastic as a base? And yeah, it looks like it's a blue. It's not dual molded, so it's blue plastic. So that purple is painted on, and so
Which
it doesn't
also
quite
might explain why it
match.
didn't have a big as wash or a. That's why they did the wash on there. You got to figure
Right.
this is a tough toy to make,
Yep.
and I think they did a really good job overall with it.
And then same goes for like I think that this foot, and then you get to like sort of the ankle there. It's a different plastic, and some things.
Yeah, it's just
I
minor
generally
stuff.
don't. Yeah, and then I know there are people who really, really care about that, and especially if they're getting like really expensive import figures or more expensive sort of indie figures. I get it. I will say though, as far as price goes, this guy here in California in the Bay Area is $40.49, which is you can price match at Target to get the sort of whatever price it is elsewhere, but
Well, that's
it's
always
not a
good
cheap
call.
figure either. Yeah, but it's not a cheap figure. Like
Yeah.
so I get if people are sort of like, well, for my money, I need to see a certain quality, but
Right. I'm digging the detailing on the belt as Eldor was just holding it up there and showing it off. Again,
yeah.
the extra detail. I'm pointing at it with my cursor on my screen and nobody can see that. But the detail on the rivets
Over there.
and like the little pyramids on there, I mean, I didn't realize that Hot Topic had belts in Too Bad size, but clearly with the pyramid design and the little rivets going across, they do.
Yep. Hey, Pop Actor. Want to recognize you're here, and Pop Actor has something for you specifically. I don't know if you saw that, Oz. And he was. Oh, you did answer. Yeah, you did answer.
I answered
The new
him
attorney.
earlier.
Yeah, interesting. Roger Sweet's original name for Too Bad was Schizo.
Well, I mean, hey, it makes sense. Dude's definitely arguing with himself. So I see actually, Eldor, you've got an accessory over there in the hand, and even Brick. Man, my hand is so tight. Like I'm worried if I keep trying to force. I'm worried if I keep trying to force the weapon in there that I'm going to get like a real bad paint rub or something on his glove because mine is stiff. Like really
is it pretty cold
tight.
where you're at right now?
It is. As you can see, I got to wear the hat because my balls.
See, with those older, you wouldn't do that with those older Lord of the Rings figures. The weapons are quite brittle, and of course, when I was trying to put up Thorin Oakenshield's elven sword into his hand, it snapped the handle. I found the weapons to be rather brittle there.
Yeah. Now it's funny though, because like Brick, you had that separation with your leg joint. I've got it with my spiky dum dum sucker.
Yeah, not over here.
Yeah, mine is quite separated from the actual piece. So, like, because I can even see inside, they've kind of got it like countersinked. Term for carpentry when you drill out the wood a little bit. So I just got to heat treat a couple of pieces here and get them all lined up. But again, I'm actually really impressed overall with Too Bad. I think he's probably one of my favorite of these Masterverse figures. And I mean, the guy is a giant. This thing is huge comparatively. Stand him next to our.
Which is the traffic cone that Scott's referring to?
Traffic.
He got rid of the belt and the traffic cone.
Oh, he's talking about the shoulder spike.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's totally a traffic cone. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Now that he says, I mean, mine's a little crooked, so it looks kind of like a witch's hat. But I'm just realizing that's like a soft gummy plastic too for the shoulder spike.
It is.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
switch here real quick. Yeah, I'm liking a lot of the design choices too. That belt, I agree with you. This shoulder armor, it's a bit much.
It is.
So I could easily.
I mean, I'm
remove
wondering why
it.
they gave him that big spike on that side, but then they didn't give I guess because he's got the arm fin kind of on the other side. But why
Arm
they
fin.
didn't give,
Oh, right here.
yeah, why they didn't give like a pyramid or a stud on the other side or a rivet, to complete the look, since they're going all Hot Topic on it.
We didn't really run through articulation. Articulation's fairly, it's typical on the New Adventures He-Man. And this guy's just a little, the articulation's the same, but it feels differently because he's such a big figure. And
Right.
this torso, for whatever reason, it's real satisfying for me to sort of like use that crunch and get these kind of more like I'm flying, I'm jumping dynamic poses.
The fact that with a torso so big that you can get that much mobility out of this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because again, this is like an extra wide torso here. So the fact that there is that much give to it, I think is really cool. Because that couldn't have been easy to really design. But it's got a lot of crunch to it for something that huge.
I like this angle too. So we've got the taller side here, the taller head. And if you kind of get him at the 3/4 and you have the head sort of in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
I believe
cool,
the
fun
classics
things you can
version,
do with this guy.
the heads are around the same height, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely a very, very cool look for it. A very cool design. And again, you can even flip it to the reverse.
Every time I look up, you've got like this different thing. I was like, oh yeah, there's an axe. I was like, wait, I'm losing track. There's an axe. There's the 2 maces or whatever you call those. Morning Star.
One's more of a Morning Star and one's more of a mace.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
He's got a lot of kit.
He did. He like this. I feel is a good full deluxe figure for the amount of extra that you get with him.
It's a one ring to rule them all, as they say.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
And in the darkness, find them. A bit of a ring pop,
with you and that in the robe and the beard. It's actually really hurting my heart to see you put on that ring of power, man.
Yes, it felt rather fitting there.
Ooh. Uh-oh. You've even got Bobby shaking his head now.
There's another subscriber.
All right. So where are we at with the verdict on Too Bad over here, folks? What you thinking?
Minor gripes. Overall, fantastic figure. Probably my favorite out of Masterverse so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to let that sink in for a second and see if I could even say the same thing. And I don't know. I don't know that it's definitely up there. And I'm trying to wrap my head around what the favorites are. Because again, you've seen that I've replaced stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I often think like, would I replace anything on this? And no, I mean, this guy's pretty good as is. So he's definitely one of the strongest Masterverse figures. I gotta agree with that. I'm just thinking, trying to look around, and yeah, I don't know. I think this is definitely, it's up there for being the strongest Masterverse figure out of the box for me. I've got some other ones that I like a lot, but there are little things like I really like this. His cape just fell off.
Yes.
Skeletor, for example, but I hate his cape. Like there's just little things that Brick is like reacting to. And then when I look at this guy, there's not a whole lot. Now that was it Scott who pointed out this that is getting my attention a little bit. But what I will say, I kind of appreciate how they did make it that flexible thing to kind of look like it might be connected. but still, it's a weird look. So maybe that. But no, I'm really into this figure too. How about you,
Well-
Eldor? Oh,
Yes, aside from the forearms not going first try, we take
True.
those up. Yes, I'm rather impressed there. He's a nice bit of kit of accessories going on with him, and a bit of armor, a bit of switch out there in the belt, or the armor if you want to leave that off, or the shoulder piece there.
yeah.
And yes, there's a shield looking good too.
Basically, this line keeps getting. I know I've heard a lot of people say this, but this line just does keep getting better and better, and they keep definitely swinging for the fences. It doesn't seem like it's like, even with this one, it's like I feel like the overall sculpts are getting better. Their character choices are getting bolder. Like
Yes.
who would have thought that we'd be getting a New Adventures He-Man?
They
And
showed
so
him off
by
at San Diego Comic-Con, and I was like, are we really ready for new adventures yet?
right,
And they were
think
like,
of all the other things
yeah.
we haven't gotten yet, but they're like, yeah, no,
Skeletor looks rather nice there. I've seen him on the Lulu Baloo side
Oh,
there.
he looks
I
fantastic.
cannot wait. I'm not even like that huge of a fan of that overall design for Skeletor, but that figure looks amazing.
Agreed. And
I felt the same way about the pig head there, compared to the Origins pig head. The
Yeah.
Masterverse one looks
I
that's
want that
another
big
one.
head.
Like I haven't seen him in
Not in store yet.
in front of me, but the sculpt on that is like this figure has this character I feel like has no business looking so good compared to some of the other ones that we've gotten, like say Faker, which I wasn't a big fan of, or even Savage He-Man, right?
Yeah.
But they spent a lot of time and made that figure look really interesting.
Scott
He's
Baker
nice
has
to head
mentioned.
to him also.
Yeah. Scott Baker has mentioned Stratos is a good one.
Oh, waiting
He's
on my
coming
Stratos.
next.
He'll be coming with Roboto there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. You have plans to unbox that one anytime soon?
We got time?
Right
he'll
now?
be arriving
Sure.
around
Why not?
April there,
I mean, we're well past what I thought we're going, and
Yeah, we might as well just throw it out the window right now, right?
45 minutes, he said. Oh yeah, less
get
than
you-
45 minutes.
We'll get you a couple extra view hours while we're all here. Why not?
While you do that,
I'm waiting on Froster with that order and two
Oh,
movie
man.
He-Man because I plan to do a Faker custom with one. So I've ordered two of the Rum and Toy verse 2 heads for that. And yes, I'm getting my Stratos there too. And Zodak. Well, no, I got Zodak the other day. Rather, who else was I getting? Is there Roboto? I don't know. I'll find when they arrive. There's quite a few.
while we've got this, let me. I'm gonna hold on. How do I do this?
Who you got there, sir?
Some classics Mantenna going on.
Hey, we got you up there. That's. I almost
Oh no, Brick. Where is he?
I almost
There he is.
removed myself from the screen. That's awesome. Okay. So yes, Stratos is absolutely a good one. I'm waiting for that one to come.
Oh yes, Mantenna. Do you
This
think he might be the
is-
same height as Too Bad there?
And I have a couple guys hanging out, but like there are certain classic figures that to me are just like the definitive versions for sure. And I love the way they handled this character, for example. And so I just want to throw him up here because size wise, they're both bigger characters. They're both monstrous, kind of show them side by side. And I would say, for my money, in my opinion, this is still a much better looking sculpt than even what they're able to achieve here with Too Bad. And I really like that said. I love the Too Bad, but this kind of stuff going on by the Horsemen, like the level of detail, you could tell they spent time on this trying to make it as monstrous as possible. And I love what they did with that. And then I'll let you buying you some time to get that guy open. New Adventures He-Man. Well, we got to have a New Adventures villain, and one of my favorite New Adventures villain characters is Optic.
Aye, you look harmless.
and I just love that both Masterverse works so well with Classic. That was my other reason for sort of like, at a certain point I was like, ooh, I really like the Origins. I really want to try something new, and kind of made a decision. So I landed on Masterverse, and part of it was so that I could have an excuse to also buy some old Classics figures. And yeah, were we ready for a new Eternia He-Man? I don't know, but it was worked out well for me in terms of having these guys to kind of do battle. Anyway, how are you doing with Stratos there?
Still crinkling some plastic, getting extra hands
that
out of
makes
there.
sense.
That's why I had myself muted. I didn't want to
Makes sense.
go over that there.
Well, they've announced Grislaw so far for Masterverse. There might be a bit of a new Eternia Grislaw, mind you. So
Yeah.
I doubt we'll possibly be seeing more of the Horde, because we've had Hordak and Katra and She-Ra already.
Yep. And confession, I had ordered two Grislors. No, maybe just one Origins Grislor. I kind of got in on the made to order versions. And the second, because my plan was to see if I could turn him into a Masterverse. And then they announced the Masterverse one, and I canceled that bad boy right away.
Well, I still made a Masterverse Grislaw custom, so
yeah, I know. That's why I was
I'm
like,
fully
man.
intending on going the Faker route, even though they've announced a Faker there for this line. Just whatever you feel, I suppose.
There's nothing wrong with making the customs and doing your own thing, because I mean, in the end, that's probably going to be the one that you like a little bit more anyway, because you made it.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, I'm digging. I don't know if it's exact, but I'm pretty sure they used the same buck for Beastman with this.
Oh,
I don't have mine on hand to compare entirely, but I may be wrong, because actually, now that I'm looking at the chest,
I've got you on full screen too, if you want to show us that fig.
Sure. So again, huge, gorgeous sculpting detail, making him look like he's got the fur all over. I like the fact that they go the extra mile with the loin claws on these Masterverse, so that they are not the same for every figure. It's not a reused part. That's completely different. His is feathers versus the fur.
He may also borrow from a bit of Stinkor up on the body there. Maybe the Revelation Beast.
You know what?
That's true.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I don't have the Stinkor figure, which I need to get, because I want to get Jason Mewes to sign it at some point.
Because he's peg warming over here.
I do really.
I think that's right.
Like it definitely, in the feet wise, I was thinking that does definitely feel like the Beastman, but you're right. The buck looks a little skinny and a little more narrow, so that might not be. But I'm thinking the arms at least are, because they are big and bulky and beefy, and so are his legs, to the point where it definitely looks like his chest. Okay, yep, chest is Stinkor. He has them. Okay. So yeah, they're definitely doing some shared parts and mixing and matching, which is pretty wild.
Yes, they do.
Now, I do like that they gave all the mini comic elements to this version of Stratos, as well as giving him that more regular look. I'm loving that about the new Eternia stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Revert them back to how they looked in their vintage style, or you can kind of keep their newer, updated new Eternia looks, which I really, really dig. And I know Joe Amato's watching. Dude, you look great on a figure, man. You look good. Make sure you tell him I said that, Bobby. So one detail that I love that they did with these, and I'll try to hold it up where we can see it, is that the mask looks like a beak.
Yeah.
Which I really dig that detail.
Super
I
clever.
thought that was really good. And just the way that matches with his head, fantastic. Yet again, a great little detail just to add in, but it does so much overall for the character. Again, that's just my opinion of it. You don't have to agree with me. That's okay. We're allowed to not agree and still be friends, people. But yeah, because
Good to know. Good to know.
now he just looks like he's going to chirp.
It does. Yeah, look at that. That's straight up Wizard of Oz right there. No, not Wizard, but yes. I just wanted to see how this guy would look with a cape. It's very Supermanish to me.
Oh God, yeah. that red cape makes him look straight out of Superman. Now the funny part is he kind of resembles more the villain from what was that, Superman 4, but he's wearing Soup's colors.
The quest for peace. Yeah, that's a cape that I use for my weird little motion picture guy that I made out of this Savage He-Man.
Very nice. Very nice.
But don't really need him now that we have the other one. Because again, when we were talking about this line, when this came out, I was like, they're never going to make a motion picture.
So the weapon that's had the most tilt so far, probably the shortest, the Staff of Avion. It's got a wicked curve to it.
Yeah.
Staff of Avion is 2000X. Is that right?
Or
was
actually,
that mini
no,
comics?
I think that was in the mini comics before 2000X. But they definitely brought it into the animation with 2000X, because I don't remember if they mentioned it in
Filmation.
Well, I think they did mention it in the Filmation version, but I believe that came out after the mini comic came out. So yeah, overall though, again, just super happy with this version of Stratos. I think it's great. Which again, he's not one of my all-time favorites out of the line, but just with these little additions they have, the extra accessories, the added details, I really, really feel that this is a win right here. So, and again, if I measure him up to the height of Two Bad here, Two Bad just towers over everybody. I try to line him up. I can't line him up right on my computer there.
No, there you go. There you go. Oh, in terms of height wise.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can see he stands quite a bit taller and their feet are at the same level, which is great. I just think that's a really cool thing, because Two Bad's supposed to look like this giant monster. And he
still have his mask on there again? You still have his mask on him? Or no, just so Thanos Cobb is pointing this out. And that's kind of what I was thinking too, is that bird, I like the plague doctor.
The big plague doctor thing. I thought so too. Definitely. So this is Plague Doctor Stratos, He's coming to tell you you're going to die.
Yeah, Two Bad is definitely the tallest of the bunch. Before that was New Eternia Beast Man. I love that figure too. Love that figure too, bud.
Another outstanding figure. Like, they do just the stuff we keep seeing from Masterverse continues to get better and better. Because again, I know at first they were doing the revelations to kind of help promote the show, and it made sense. Definitely did.
Yep.
But I'm really liking what we're getting now versus what they started giving us to begin with.
Yep.
And I hope we keep getting more and more. I know my sister Carol had mentioned earlier in the chat, she was getting Bo vibes off New Eternia or New Adventures He-Man. And I could easily see where they would do a little bit of extra sculpting. And we already know they've got the Princess Power, subline going.
Yep.
Why not just give us a bow?
Yep. There's one thing here that, and then we should probably start wrapping up. We've got, actually two things. Let's just start here. We've got 2 more weeks. So 2 more weeks to enjoy Masters of the Universe before it all disappears.
It's going away.
So
April 1st, no more Masters. Motu will be gone. So saith the prophet.
And where was the other one? It was something talk about the pop and swap, or was it? Which I will say that's my biggest thing too. I think I lost it, but I forget who said it. But someone said I wish that the Masterverse had the pop and swap features of Origins, and 100%. Like
Well, it really
this figure
depends
would
on how much you want to heat your joints.
Yeah, but you can kind of ruin them and crack the torso. Is what I've asked Eldor this before, because I was like, oh man, and even like getting off the loincloth,
It's
right?
not-
It's
prepared
a little
this,
bit more of
just
a challenge.
a few pieces here. So with a little bit of
Yeah.
work, mind you, and not of heat, and a
Yep,
bit
yep.
of a cutting tool, you can get an element of pop and swap, but indeed you can't pop at the torso or pop the shoulders off. You can at the bicep. Although, but to remove and switch around the arm pieces, you have to get a bit more surgical, shall we say. And yes, once I've heated the pieces up, I just sort of bend these limbs till I can expose as much of the pin in there as possible. And then I get my scalpel in there. I'm not sure if you can see it. But
That's
I cut,
a lot of
I cut halfway through the pin there. And that allows me to
Oops,
pop these.
sorry. Wrong one.
So
I was trying to
that
get
allows-
you focused. Here we go. There you
Oh,
go.
I see. So that allows me to pop out these joints and mix and match different arm pieces and what have you. And I had to do that with one custom there because I was using the skin tone off Fisto for my cold arm custom.
And you needed to
So
match.
I had to remove his fist arm, you see. And I put just a Revelation He-Man arm in there. And, of course, I painted the skin tone to match. But, yes, I'm using these pieces in my Faker custom because, when you use paint on these figures, when you articulate, the paint tends to rub off these joints.
Yeah.
So I thought if I had some blue joints in between the arm pieces, that it wouldn't rub off the paint or the color so much. So I'll try and match to the color of this is the New Eternia Skeletor pieces that I'm holding here.
That's right. It is kind of that duller bluish green. Absolutely.
So yes, it is rather fiddly, mind you, but the more hot you have it, you can bend it that way and get your
Yep.
scalpel in there to cut the pin, and then yes, once it's cooled down again, it becomes fairly solid. So it would.
Is it cracking at all? Like the sonic weld is it splitting apart on that calf?
No. I cut that little split in the pin there to remove these pieces.
Right. But I meant more so like on the outside case of the actual leg.
No. If you get it nice and hot, it makes
gotta
the
get it
plastic
hot.
soft. So when you bend everything, you can get in there and cut it fairly easily. But once it's cool, it becomes more solid. So it won't fall out if you decide to mix and match the parts around. It just takes a bit more work.
That comment's hilarious. I think I may need to go do some Photoshop work later.
You can pop the feet off the little peg there. You can pop the boot cut pieces off, and so there's an element of pop and swap. It's
That's
just a bit of
amazing. There's an element of taking apart the figure, but the notion of pop and swap makes it sound a little. It's maybe a little easier than I think what you're doing, but it's awesome. It's great that you can do that. It's just,
But of course,
there's something to be
I'm going to
said.
be going over all that in better detail when I
When?
finish my
When?
video on my Faker custom that I'm working on.
Nice.
Is that sort of next in the queue?
So yes, and that's the custom I'm working on at the moment, and I'm just filming it as I go. So you're not always seeing the aftermath review, as it were. So I thought it would be an informative customizing video for people to see how it's done.
Love it, Eldor. Well, let's go ahead and start wrapping up. But I will say, if you haven't checked out
My power's about to run out there, so if I blank out, I said
Right.
all
Like
lies.
the reason I'm trying to rush is because this one just died, and this one's starting to get that sound like it's dying too.
Oh.
So pretty soon I won't be able to hear you guys. But I was just saying, if you haven't subscribed to Toyhunter's channel, definitely do that. I'll go back and add that into here. Happy
Oh, thank
birthday to you, sir. Happy
Thank you,
birthday.
sir.
And some of the videos that I fell in love with on your channel were the Grizzlor, the Mosquito. So like, looking forward to seeing what you do with that faker. Absolutely.
Yes, I haven't done a custom video in a while, so I've been
Yeah,
meaning
it's
to
been a
get
while.
back onto it.
Yeah, and Oz, obviously, like if you're here, you know Oz. Like Oz is everywhere. And so, but if you haven't yet subscribed to Ozstradamus
Everywhere.
Toyz, Thanos Copter, Nolan, like come on now, they're all there. But if you haven't, for whatever reason, you're catching this on the replay, definitely do that. Ozstradamus Toyz. I love it. My OzBrick partner, as you can see over here, it looks like this is what it looks like on the desk, and it looks like Legions, and there's going to be a Legions and a Motu team up. Maybe that's what's going on April 1st. No. But anyway, I just wanted to sort of end with that. But thank you both for joining me today. Thank you so much, Eldor, for joining us on your birthday impromptu.
Thank you for having me.
Yep, absolutely. Happy birthday. Thanks again, Oz. And thank you to everyone in the chat. So, anyways, yeah, I got nothing brilliant to say, but I really I don't know if you've checked out Toy Domination, but have you ever seen how he sort of like is talking through and then all of a sudden it's like something happens and then it's just sort of weirdly just